It erupted in the span of a heartbeat. One moment, Sean Diddy Combs lounged behind the defence table, wearing the half-smirk of a mogul who'd once bent an entire genre to his will, and the next he was upright, neck veins pulsing, bellowing at Cassie and the judge, while every phone in the gallery lit up with the same push notification. Justin Bieber publicly sides with Cassie. That single flicker of blue light didn't just break the internet. It detonated inside the courthouse, shredding the myth of Diddy's invincibility and yanking a decade of whispered rumours into blinding, televised daylight. What followed before sundown would redraw every map of loyalty, power and fear in hip-hop's inner sanctum, and if you blinked, whole careers vanished in the cracks. The tension hummed the moment the courtroom doors opened for day 2. Diddy glided in first, charcoal Tom Ford catching the fluorescent glare like polished obsidian, attorneys flanking him in choreographed formation. Yet the swagger felt brittle. His eyes darted over shoulder after shoulder, settling on no one, fingers drumming a restless military tattoo against the tabletop. Court security clocked the microtells and responded in kind. 2 extra deputies took up posts directly behind his leather chair, communicating in terse nods that said, "We're expecting turbulence. No celebrity tax break there. Just law enforcement muscle ready to pin down an apex predator if the cage rattled." Across the aisle, the contrast looked hand-stitched for symbolism. Cassie entered, head high, in an understated black shift dress with a schoolgirl collar that almost dared cameras to zoom closer. No diamond bracelets, no entourage gossiping behind oversized sunglasses, only a tight phalanx of longtime friends whose body language translated to, "We've got you." They peeled away at the rail, letting her take a solitary seat that turned every lens in the room. The calm she projected made the silence feel intimate, like everyone was eavesdropping on a secret she'd already learned to live with. Even Judge Marlowe sensed the barometric change. The veteran jurist, 5'2" in stacked heels yet somehow towering, paused before taking the bench, her gaze sweeping gallery, jury box, defendant, witness stand, back to defendant. When she finally lowered herself into the high-backed chair, she did so as if bracing for recoil. Nobody talked about it aloud, but the air felt electrically dry, like the fraction of a second before a lightning strike. By mid-morning, an undercurrent of whispered tech drama pulsed through the chamber. Prosecutors angled a single tablet between them, shielding the screen with folders as they zoomed and pinched and scribbled post-it notes at speeds fit for Wall Street traders. Defense lawyers scribbled so frantically it looked as though their pens might set the yellow legal pads on fire. Every few minutes, a clerk hustled in from the corridor to hand someone an emergent, for-your-eyes-only printout. Phones, though barred from jurors, buzzed in every attorney's pocket and every reporter's purse, like a swarm of mechanical hornets waiting for a signal. That signal hit at 10:17 a.m. The first gasp rose from the press pew, then a chain reaction of heads bowed to screens, thumbs flying. Justin Bieber, still one of the planet's loudest megaphones at 270 million Instagram followers, had posted a vintage shot of himself and Cassie in 2013, back when he was a teen star in a snapback and she was the rising first lady of Bad Boy. In the photo, she smiles, but keen eyes can now spot unease in her gaze. Unease Bieber's caption, hammered into context. "I should have spoken up sooner. I witnessed way too much. Cassie was brave long before I found my voice. Certain behaviours haunted me for years. Now I understand their pattern." No coy euphemisms, no PR lawyer washing verbs, just a blunt statement of complicity and regret, time-stamped and public. Within 90 seconds, the screenshot pinballed across every handset in the courthouse. A network reporter sprinted into the marble hall to phone her segment producer. A blogger live-streamed shaky cam commentary from the men's room doorway. Paralegals printed the post and stapled it into exhibit packets. Jurors, sequestered from devices but not facial cues, began whispering guesses among themselves. Only one man remained unplugged. Diddy, whose lead counsel was now physically shielding the defense table like a privileged first-grader hiding contraband. Ignorance, however, has a short half-life. A junior associate, presumably unaware of the silent plan to keep Diddy in the dark, hustled up holding a vibrating iPhone. Diddy's gaze snagged the glow, magnetized, The instant he recognized Bieber's handle, his pupils dilated the way a boxer's do after a surprise uppercut. Silence, then a single clatter as the phone slid from his fingers. His lips parted, closed, parted again, while a thin blue vein surfaced near his temple. One breath, two. Then he slammed his palm so hard the defense table echoed like a bass drum. Water glasses trembled. A court reporter flinched. "After everything I did for that kid, loyalty means nothing." The words cannoned off marble walls. Every eye in the room locked on him, a human seismograph spiking off the graph. Cassie never blinked. Judge Marlowe's gavel cracked 3 crisp times, a pistol over a starting line. "Mr. Combs, sit down or be removed." But Diddy was already standing, shoulders heaving. He stabbed a finger toward Cassie. "Tell them the truth. Tell them what really happened." His attorney clutched his sleeve. Diddy shook him off with a force that nearly toppled the man. 2 deputies closed in, palm heels brushing sidearms. The sketch artist's hand jerked, charcoal skittering across paper, trying to capture the whites of Diddy's eyes and the tendon cording his neck. The judge ordered an immediate recess. Jurors hustled out under bailiff escort, whispering "Oh my gods" as they passed. Reporters spooled to the hallway to film stand-ups in real time. Inside, Diddy paced like a zoo cougar in mating season, lawyers circling, pleading. The meeting of egos sounded like wind lashing a metal flagpole, pinging, endless, far too loud. He muttered about loyalty taxes, about how careers end with one phone call, about ungrateful protégés. Sweat darkened his collar points. In a corner, his publicist, who up to now had maintained Oscar-night composure, Googled defendant meltdown damage control on a smuggled tablet. 15 minutes disappeared in a blur of caffeinated crisis strategy, but the break did nothing to cool the defendant. When the bailiff called the room to order, Diddy's shoulders still bounced as if every inhale stoked a furnace. Cassie took the stand, posture erect, expression placid, not stoic, not frozen, just preternaturally steady. Prosecutor Angela Velez, voice modulated to a surgeon's calm, led her through the chronology of obsession. She described 17 unanswered texts Diddy fired at her one Los Angeles dusk in 2016, each ping more insistent than the last. "Where the hell are you? Who's with you?" "Last chance." She explained the house rule forbidding her from speaking to male artists without Diddy's material presence. She recounted a night in Miami when she lingered 2 minutes too long in conversation with a DJ and felt a grip bruise blossom on her forearm before she finished her drink. Each recollection landed like a drum hit, boom, 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 until the jurors' pens fell still, as though no margin notes could match the gravity of the pattern. Then came the receipts. Velez tapped the tablet and every courtroom monitor flickered alive. Up flashed that 2016 text thread between Cassie and Bieber. Cassie: "He tracks my phone. I'm scared." Bieber: "This isn't love, Cass. You need help, professional help." Gasps ricocheted. Next, a grainy 2018 hotel lobby clip. Cassie greeting a male producer with a cheek kiss, then abruptly stiffening as Diddy swoops in, arm coiled around her waist like barbed wire, steering her toward the elevator. Diddy's jaw clenched so hard it looked as though he might crack molars. His lawyer leaned in, hissing, "We need to regroup." But there was no regrouping when the jury could watch the power dynamic play out at 30 frames per second. The final dagger arrived when Cassie quoted Diddy from a 2017 after-party. "Even Justin knows what happens to people who cross me." The words hung, icicles in fluorescent light. Juror number 8, who'd nodded politely at Diddy on day 1, leaned back, arms folded, legal pad untouched. A middle-aged woman on the panel pressed fingertips to her lips. Diddy shredded a Starbucks napkin into snowflakes, gaze pinned to the floor. Judge Marlowe struck fast. Standing, robe flaring like a black sail, she delivered a rebuke that would trend within minutes. "Mr. Combs, this courtroom is not a gated estate. You control nothing here except your own behaviour, and thus far you've failed spectacularly." She ordered an immediate psychiatric evaluation, revoked all electronics for the defendant, and stationed 2 uniformed deputies within arm's reach of him for the rest of trial. Defence counsel slumped, pencils frozen in mid-sentence. Across the divide, Prosecutor Velez exhaled through her nose, arranging papers with the serenity of a chess player who just trapped the Grandmaster's queen. But outside those panelled walls, the bigger game had only just begun. Within an hour, justice for Cassie roared to the top of X. TikTok Stitch challenges dissected Diddy's outburst frame by frame, and Spotify plays of Cassie's back catalogue shot up 1,200%. Entertainment. Tonight opened its 7 p.m. broadcast with a slow-motion split screen, Cassie's poised testimony on the left, Diddy's table slam on the right, a ticker beneath pulling live poll results on Who Do You Believe? An influential podcaster dragged a 2015 Tonight Show clip where Diddy ruffled Bieber's hair, suddenly reframed as sinister foreshadowing. Back in the courthouse lobby, paparazzi flashes strobed like disco lights against marble, and the scent of burnt espresso mingled with hot mic questions. Diddy emerged first, shoulders hunched, tie askew, a legal pad folder shielding his face as though the paper could stop 1,000 DSLR lenses. Microphones jabbed, questions volleyed. "Mr. Combs, do you have a message for Justin?" Silence, save for the click-click of shutter bursts. One reporter swore later she heard him mutter, "This city will see," though no boom mic caught it clearly. Reputation loves ambiguity. Rumour filled the vacuum within minutes. Cassie exited 15 long beats later. She moved slowly, deliberately, flanked by her tight circle, the courthouse doors framing her like a runway entrance. Cameras begged for a tear, a tremble, any external sign of the private pain she'd poured onto the record. None came. She paused just once, lifted her chin to the sky as if gauging the April clouds, then walked on, leaving unanswered questions swirling like exhaust. Night fell, but the story refused to sleep. Cable news producers stitched highlight reels on loop, splicing courtroom sketches with archive footage of Diddy gifting Bieber a white Lamborghini in 2010. TikTok detectives drew red string connections between Cassie's testimony and long-forgotten lyrics in Diddy's 2006 hit Come to Me. On Twitch, a law professor livestream broke down Judge Marlowe's contempt options for tomorrow, hitting 400,000 concurrent viewers, numbers usually reserved for esports finals. The culture-wide jury had convened before the legal one returned from sequester. Inside the Manhattan Marriott, a floor below the penthouse Diddy had booked for trial season, hotel staff traded horror stories about the thudding bass of an impromptu 2 a.m. ranting session, voice muffled by drywall, but punctuation unmistakable, objects breaking, heavy footsteps pacing, and an unanswered phone ringing off the hook until voicemail claimed defeat. A desk clerk leaked a blurry hallway still to TMZ, time-stamped 2:43 a.m, showing Combs's lead counsel arriving in sweats, hair wild, clutching a thick manila envelope, crisis briefings too urgent to wait for sunrise. Meanwhile, in a Brooklyn brownstone, Prosecutor Velez's team crammed around a dining room table turned war room. Each laptop glowed with fresh emails, former choreographers, set designers, junior producers stepping forward now that Bieber had pierced the celebrity code of silence. One message's subject line read simply, "I have the 2014 tour bus footage." Another, "He destroyed my hard drive but I kept backups." Every ping felt like a lever loosening the bolts on the empire's foundation. Word that Jay-Z's name appeared in amended civil filings floated back into trending topics, stirring speculation about whether hip-hop's ultimate elder statesman might someday face the same witness stand. Late-night comedians scrambled to rewrite monologues. Brand managers whispered furiously about distancing sponsorships before sunrise. By 4 a.m, the Shade Room blogs bled into mainstream headlines. Is the bad boy era officially over? The echo chamber answered with flame emojis, meme gifs of dominoes, and a sneering clip from Diddy's own 1998 It's All About the Benjamins video, irony repurposed in real time. Dawn cracked a bruised orange over lower Manhattan, and with it came rumours Judge Marlowe might fast-track a contempt hearing before jury sits. Court security added yet another layer. Plainclothes marshals stationed at every bathroom, a canine unit sweeping counsel break rooms. Inside the holding cell, a forensic psychiatrist waited to administer a midnight-ordered assessment, an interview that could decide whether Diddy listens to the rest of his trial through thick plexiglass. At 8:07 a.m, Cassie arrived via the side entrance, again surrounded by friends but this time also by 2 private female bodyguards hired overnight. One carried a black duffel rumoured to contain, and this is still unconfirmed, a burner phone loaded with a fresh witness roster. Credible or not, the rumour ricocheted through Media Row, bumping ratings projections in real-time spreadsheets. Television trucks outside extended satellite dishes like steel sunflowers, locking signals to broadcast molecular shifts within the courthouse. Inside, Diddy's defence summoned last-ditch swagger, custom-tailored but wrinkled, into the well. He looked diminished, yet dangerous in unpredictability, like a lion snagged in its own trap. His lawyers plastered on smiles that never reached their eyes. One stage whisper carried to the second-row press bench, "If we can discredit Bieber on cross, we can cauterize." But cauterize what? A hemorrhage of public evidence. The attorney didn't specify, maybe because he didn't know. They never got the chance. Judge Marlowe entered 15 minutes early, black robe billowing, floor mic live. She opened not with salutations, but with a crisp announcement. The psychiatric examiner's preliminary findings suggested the defendant was presently volatile and in need of constant supervision. Gasps rose like steam. Then she scrolled the bench docket. A new name glowed. Witness 14A, identified under seal, former household employee. Defense counsel blanched. Prosecutor Velez's jaw set in a smile so microscopic only those who'd studied her for 2 days might spot it. In the gallery, a Rolling Stone stringer whispered, "That's the housekeeper." Another scribe replied, "Or the driver." Either way, someone who'd been inside the mansion walls, and who, thanks to Bieber's domino, had found the courage to step into fluorescent light. And the jury, they hadn't even taken their seats yet. The stage lights were rising on Act 3 of a drama no A-list publicist could spin away. Across social media, livestream countdowns flickered. Viewers worldwide hovered thumbs over retweet arrows, bracing for the next jolt, the next leaked DM, the next career-killing detail. They knew what we all knew. Inside that hushed courtroom, the empire Diddy built on swagger and fear was one shaky outburst from total implosion. So keep your notifications on and your popcorn ready, because the valves are open now, the pressure climbing. Will Diddy muster his temper long enough to salvage a sliver of credibility? Will Cassie's new corroborating witness drive the final stake? And who, because it's no longer if, will be the next power player forced to answer for secrets everyone pretended not to hear? The answers will arrive in real time, on screens big and small, judged by 12 citizens in the box and millions of spectators on the timeline. In this saga, every ping could be the one that topples a king.